Please make sure to subscribe and hit this bell icon and say all and save. And that's all you need so you don't miss my pretty face. Thank you. Okay, recording. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our the last grand video of Pisces Navamsa. And today we're going to be discussing what happens when you have the Pisces sign rising in your D9 Navamsa chart. Not the birth chart, the Navamsa. Because as you know, Navamsa is it's like the heartbeat of the birth chart. Without it, nothing can work. And Navamsa really shows the heart of each planet. You know, the planet may look pretty like me, okay, really good looking and handsome like me, but inside it can't have a weak heart. It needs to have a strong heart to use this beauty into the world. You know, like I have hypnotized you with my beauty, you know. So when there's a good Navamsa, you're able to hypnotize with your beauty. But if there is, you know, a weak Navamsa, then the beauty cannot attract things. This is why Navamsa is very important in Vedic astrology. You know, it shows everything. It's your married life. It's your second half of life. It shows the strength of your planets. It's like, literally, if somebody just only gave you a Navamsa chart, you can still predict a whole lot. Okay. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this Navamsa of Pisces, what rising sign you have in your Navamsa, please check out the links here and check out my full astrological report with option 5 under the shop section, along with my books, Astrology Conjunction Aspects and Mahadashas of the Speed of Light, including all the consultations of this light. So, Pisces Navamsa. So, Pisces Navamsa occurs with earth, air, and water. Okay. So, if you have a earth ascendant rising in the 4th Pada, I believe it's the last Pada of Kritika, that ends up in Pisces Navamsa, and then I believe is the last Pada of Aradhra that lands itself in Pisces, or the Gemini sign, and then it is the last Pada of Ashlesha, the Cancer sign. So it's the last Pada. So if you have like any earth, air, or water sign rising in your birth chart, you would have, and you could have, a Pisces Navamsa, depending upon the degree of your ascendant. Okay, so what happens is with this transfer, okay, and I'm kind of slow because it's almost 1 o'clock, and I just came back from a Derby party, Kentucky Derby. My wife's friends, they had like 30-40 people there, so I dressed up, you know, like a clown, different colors, different matching. And so now I came back, but then I'm like, hey, I promised people that I was going to upload the video, you know, yesterday, and I couldn't do it, so I had to do it today, which means I'm still not doing it today. I'm actually now doing it on Sunday. The irony of time. So when you have, you know, earth birth chart, that means you're going from earth to water. You're going from stability to not being stable. It's not what you think. It's not the way I'm saying. Okay, you're going from this groundedness to experiencing everything that the ground does not provide you. So the creatures on the ground cannot feel what it likes to be on the air, what it likes to see the whole world, what it likes to fly. So that's what transfers in a person's from first half to second half, from external to internal behavior. Like you can be looking for stability all throughout your first half of life. You could be like, hey, I want the money, I want this, I want that, I want that. And then suddenly through marriage, suddenly through second half of life, especially when Navamsa becomes truly active after 36 and beyond, you'll be like, okay, I'm making all this money, I'm wanting all this stability, but what is life? Life is not stable because Earth person will run into instances, and it's so funny that the host of today's party was talking about how just a couple of days his best friend passed away, and he's like 50, 52 now, 52, 53, and his best friend just dropped just like that, and he's like, this is life, I could be next. My best friend just went, healthy guy, I could be next. So now if this person has Pisces Navamsa, which they don't, they have Capricorn Navamsa because I checked for them, they're going to be all throughout. They're going to be like, okay, I need that groundedness. But a Pisces person will be like, no, by this situation that I just ran into, forget it. I want to go to the Himalayas. I want to experience life. When it goes from air to water, is that air is actually flying, right? Air is communication. Air is going from here to there, exchanging ideas. You're going to run into instances where, to see the shift in you, okay, where you're going to see that, okay, all this communication, all this learning that I've done means nothing because my colleague or my best friend or my professor who is a genius, all throughout his life, he worked on these theorems, he worked on these calculations, but never experienced life, never experienced the inner being. Forget all this, forget all the mathematics, forget all this. I want to know about myself. So it shifts, it changes. Then you get water. Water's changing into water, but now what's happening is a flowing river is merging into the deep sea. So the emotions that you gather for your family, for your children, for people around you, suddenly expands towards the ocean of human and living things. You no longer feel like, okay, I want to, only love my child. You can be like, I want to love every single child. Every single child has a parent. Every animal has a parent. I want to love them. This is how you have to understand how this is going, how the things are merging. Fire is turning into this, or water is turning into that. It's very simple. You will see this in your own life. But then now when you have the Navamsa ascendant, okay, this is actually probably one of the most beautiful ascendants to have in Navamsa. This actually, without the planets, we can see that a person gets a very beautiful married life. A person gets, what, if let's say a person has certain ascendant where, I'm not going to say the ascendant because then you all will be like, oh my God. But if there's certain ascendant who suffer through marriage karmas, who suffer through, fights in the family, fights with the in-laws, and they're like, why do people get married? Well, you come across this Pisces Navamsa, they'll be like, well, the reason why we get married is because of this, and this, and I experienced this and this. They will have a different version of marriage. This is why you shouldn't lay down your law on everybody, your philosophy on everybody. Philosophy is very much misconstrued how philosophy needs to be shared. Philosophy needs to be experienced. This is why in the modern tradition, philosophy is talking, having conversations with people. This is life. But Eastern side, the Eastern philosophy, the Hindu philosophy, it says, forget all these things. Let's do yoga. Yoga will tell us all the answers that we need to know. So they actually, they go to the depth of the spirit, not just the mind. Mind's a clown, mind's a monkey. Mind is nothing. You erase my memory right now, I wouldn't know what astrology, I wouldn't even know what my name is. Who's Kapiel Raaj then? So beautiful Navamsa to have. And this person doesn't, okay, so this is the thing about Pisces. This person doesn't necessarily desires companionship or marriage, but they feel like they want someone to share the experience that they are having. They love sharing that with someone. Because remember, this is the ocean. A person whose consciousness is ocean from within, they cannot be tied to a single drop. which is your spouse, right? Like, all of us have spouse, or at least, most people. I have a spouse, and for me, that spouse is like, okay, everything. I need to serve her, I need to take care of her, I need to make sure she has everything. A Pisces person looks at it the same way because they have to live in society, but internally they're like looking for something much more. They're looking for something much more than just this one-on-one bondage. So they may love you, they may take care of you, but they're looking for something deeper. They're looking for the divine love. So the notion of soulmates, the notion of, any kind of like a flame, the past flame, that's what this person is looking for, really. They really want that soul connection. So through that soul, they can also share that same love with everybody. That's what Pisces is. As much as you may be thinking, oh, Pisces is dream. Why am I blurred? Hold on. Okay, now I'm clear. Okay. I don't know why. It's greasy hands. So Pisces person overall will be about understanding, wanting to know thyself, wanting to go deep within. So these are the people who are married, who are family people, but internally they would love doing meditation with their spouse, their children. They like going to all the spiritual retreats. They want to escape from normal civilized way of understanding marriage. So in a way, it's a great Navamsa to have marriage because you really explore the depth of marriage and relationship. But on the other hand, okay, they can be tough person to be in a relationship with if you are not in, if you're not in balance with their mindset. This is why Pisces does very well with Pisces ascendant or Aquarius ascendant, because both have the same, mission, internal soul's mission. And when it comes to family value, family assets, what they value money, they value wealth, but that wealth, they usually like to burn that wealth away by giving it to people. They're the people who constantly give money. It's like, it's hard for them to retain money, not because they're spending money on lavish things or on material things. They might, if they have certain planets in the second house, certain planets in the 11th house. But this person is really about basic necessities. Like a soldier, they don't want the most fancy and the best car. They're like, as long as this car can get me from point A to point B, that's what I need, first and foremost. Now, if I have some extra money and I am a human, I have desires, fine, I'll get the better car. In first half of life, this person may want the Ferrari, may want the Bentley. Second half of life, they're like, I'm okay with Toyota. Yes, I need a car, but I'm okay with it. And usually they do like to control their wealth. They like to be that one individual who controls the wealth in the marriage, because they feel like the wealth that they're making, that they're creating, it needs to be managed the right way. So they can get possessive with their possession, not because they're possessive, but because they feel like their spouse may spend that money the wrong way, where they can donate it to someone, or they can help out a family member. So the control is there, but for that particular reason. And they're very, very earthy in terms of their communication. They listen and then they talk. They don't just like come up to you and just start talking. They want to know, why is it that I'm talking to you? And what is a very grounded way to give you a reply? So, for example, you go to Yogananda, the great Kriya Yoga master. You say, Yogananda, I got this and this problem, and this is happening. How can I make money and do this and that? Yogananda will look at you and be like, here, sit, have a tea first. Look at those flowers. Aren't they great? They will tone down their response to you. They will respond to you in a manner where it's civilized. They're not like answering you as well, okay, this is what you need to do to get all this money, and then if you do this kriya yoga, it'll help you this and that. No, there's this calmness. When you sit next to a beach, you feel calm. Talking to such people, you feel that calmness, that okay, this person kind of like tones me down. They're on a different level of communication, and their skill set are very practical. They don't want to get any useless skill in their life that they won't use. They can become very creative, very handy, but they will only use it for practical purposes. They don't want to waste their energy with their skills and tasks with this Pisces Navamsa. And within the home, their joy, whether you call that gossip, whether you call that short communication, short talks, they love doing that in a very private setting. They would call you home. You might find many psychologists having a home office with this ascendant, because they like to, whatever they communicate, they're going to communicate that in private. And in a way, you can say that if there's an astrologer with Pisces Navamsa, they will not be out there on YouTube trying to give all the techniques. They won't be out there on YouTube or on Skype giving you readings. If they give you readings, it'll be very private, it'll be very intimate. But they would prefer that you come to their home. You prefer they come to their home to, communicate and give you a consultation and talk to you. They're more about that intimate communication. And especially when it comes to that intelligence of dealing with marriage, issues of the marriage, issues of any situation, from children to mother to, guru, whatever situation that arises, whatever problem that arises, how good are they at, solving those problems? They are extremely good. They emotionally sense what they have to do. For them, they don't even have to know the situation. They'll just know through emotional connection how things need to be. They don't need to calculate, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to say this to my wife, and then I'm going to do this, so then she will look like. They're not architects of that. They go by emotions. They go by heart. This is why in a marriage, when one is upset, when the spouse is upset, they will make such a authentic heart-to-heart, ways to connect with that person who is mad at them. But their true fire, their true passion is about service. It's about service. They want to give themselves in service. For these people, they won't really care if they are doing a business or a job most of the time, as long as people in the world are being served, as long as they can serve. Because you got to understand one thing. To find moksha or enlightenment, and I'm starting to get this, feed people and serve people. Feed people and serve people. That's your Kundalini awakening. By doing that, like whenever I give a bunch of money to someone who needs it, if I give my donations to a temple, the moment I give that money, naturally I just feel like, wow, it's better than getting some material possession, because I saw the look on that person's eye. When they got in there, like, why are you giving me this much? That's the moment that, is about happiness, not actually getting the material thing, but giving away the material thing is the happiness for these people. And the spouse of this person, very, very beautiful spouse. The woman would be the ideal woman who knows exactly what the woman energy is and what the woman energy needs to do in the marriage. If it's a female's chart, the man will be this light in their life. A perfect, like, just they will be like, oh my goodness, how did I find this spouse? They're so gentle, they're so pure, you know, they're just they're detail oriented when they want to be. They're about servicing when they want to be. So again, this ascendant desires that partner that is willing to give themselves into service, and they have a very balanced relationship with their in-laws. There's a very balanced approach to how to deal with assets. And when it comes to their belief system, their religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, most definitely these people are deep into tantra, occult, mysticism. They get transformed through religion, through a guru. Because for this ascendant, it is very important that they experience a transformation. They want to be transformed by you as their spouse. They want to be transformed by their children. They want to be transformed by their father, their guru. They're looking for this change within themselves by believing in something higher than themselves. But usually such people may have some karma to pay to the father, some karma to deal with the father and a guru. Then people know such people, like the reputation of marriage, the reputation of such a person is just known as on a very respectable high level. People know your marriage is like, wow, these are the people that are meant to be. These are the people who do everything right. These are the people who, go out there and travel and adventure. One is looked at as a guru, teacher, counselor, advisor, not only their marriage, but in the society at large. In their professional sphere, they're known as a teacher. They even become that teacher that their soul is desiring to be. And usually they always get very practical friends, practical network circles. But also the thing is, most of the time they end up making friends that they may not really desire too much. Why? Because they may make too many materialistic friends or status-oriented friends, status-oriented network circles, where there would be this feeling of emptiness, like, okay, so I have these friends, they're great people, but they don't fulfill me emotionally. They're willing to fulfill me through who they know and what they know, which I may not want because I may already have it. But I want this bond, this connection that can help, again, elevate me and transform me, because that's the dharma of this person's life. And they absolutely love, traveling to unusual places of spirituality, vortexes, places of mass protests. For them, that's their vacation. When they go out and be in such a service and be around people, they'll travel. They could be the people who actually travel to distances to join some group and committee to join a protest for, peace. So this is how a Navamsa, Pisces Navamsa, reacts to the world and to the marriage. Now, starting next week, we're going to cover planets through the houses of Navamsa, which will be actually a very short videos. Those won't be long videos because we're not covering the sign that the planet is in. We're simply covering the house placement. So like Venus in the first house, Saturn in the first house. I mean, those could be just 2-3 minute long videos, but it'll be very powerful because you don't really need to know much more than that for right now. It'll give you a whole lot just by one placement. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis of Pisces Navamsa. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you don't know what your ascendant Navamsa is and all the other astrological details, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.